also related to Cype Connect and StruBIM still. There's something new that we can see in this connection. Just let me delete this duplicated operation that we've just recreated. So when we talk about this kind of bolts here, the disposition of a combination of bolts, there are new options to introduce these bolts that are now much easier. So here in the bolts operation, when you use this bolts operation that are here, or you use the end plate operation too, there are new options to introduce the position of the bolts. Okay, so in the past versions, everything was introduced by coordinate. So it was a table where you should add the position of each one of the bolts, adding lines when in each line was one bolt, and then the coordinates of each bolt. Okay, it was the only option. It was possible to copy and paste this data. So if you wanna copy and paste it from Excel, for example, you could paste here, but it was the only option. From now on, we have more options here, not just by coordinates, but one option is called rows and columns. And basically here you define how many rows you want to add and how many columns, okay? And then you add a spacement between these elements here. I'm just exaggerating here to show you a little bit how it works. Okay, of course we will not do that, but as you can see here, it's much easier when you just define here number of rows, number of columns, the spacement between all them, and then you can set what's going to be the reference point. In this case, using the center of the plate, but could be something here or something here. Okay, it's not the case. Okay, but when you add one of these options here, you can change the reference of the bolts. You can also apply here some displacements in X and Y, could be positive or negative, or even an angle. This is not the case, but yes, you can spin. You can just change the angle of this position if you want, especially if you are starting in a corner and you want to apply like a displacement. Yeah, you could do that. Okay, this is not my situation here. So yeah, you have this option here. There's another one that is called, I will see this in a while. I have to change the operation. This is not applied for this one. There's another one here that is for perimeter. So the idea here is that you have this perimeter, and then you decide the size of this perimeter, X and Y. Okay, X and Y. So let's imagine I have here in Y 200 millimeters in this perimeter of the bolts here. I also select here the number of them in each one of the sides of the perimeter. Okay, and I can also decide if I want to include or not the bolts that are in the corner. So these, and these. So I can activate or not, and just set here the parameters for that perimeter. Okay. Another option here is radial. Okay, radial is special for connections that are for tubular pipes. This is not the case, but you just decide the number of elements and the radius of the circle that we will have here. It's quite similar to the perimeter, but in this case for circular distributions, circular dispositions. So you just add here the number of elements. Okay, yeah, this is not my case. It's just to show you how it works. Okay, let me come back to the first situation. This is too much. Let's just put here 4 and 2. I think it's enough. 4 and 2. Actually, it's cancel. We'll not save this connection. Let me see here if I have one connection to show the other for you. No, I don't have. So let's create here a very basic one. Let's imagine we have rolled steel IPE 140 for the beam, and let's create a column that's going to be in this case an AJB 200, for example. No, too big. To 160 maybe. This one, let's change the rotation here for no, not this one. It's gonna be the ZX actually. No, again, I'm wrong. It's gonna be this one. Yes, this one. Okay. and it's going to be a continuous bar, something like this. Let's connect the beam to the column. Okay, so to create this connection, there is one tool that is very powerful, and we have been using this tool for a long time ago. That is the end plate. Okay, the end plate operation, where we join the B1 to the B2 in this case. Okay, here is our end plate, and here also in the bolts we have the same tables. Okay, the same tables that we just saw, and this option here, that is rows and columns per flange, it's very useful because the software will recognize the position of the flanges in these beams, for example, and then we can use this information. Let's add a little bit of space in our plates, in the top and in the bottom of the plate. So to do that, I'll change the geometry, adding some overhang here, 30 centimeters in the top, for example, 30 millimeters, sorry, and in the bottom. Okay, I'll also add some extra lateral area in both of them. It's a little bit exaggerated, but no problem. It's just to show you how it works. Let's come back here to the bolts. And here, when we select that, I can decide how many lines of bolts I'll have above the top flange, under the top flange, above the bottom flange, and under the bottom flange. So there these numbers. For example, if I put 2 here, I will have here 2 lines of bolts. Okay, if I put 2 here, I'll have like 2 lines of bolts under here. Okay, these spaces are too much, so let's change here for smaller sections, smaller displacements here, and also let's change for a smaller. I don't have here in this library other bolts. Okay, but the idea is, according to the position of the bolts, okay, the flanges, sorry, you can just add lines of bolts in the top or under or over the flange. Okay, considering the position. So if we change the B1 size for another section, these lines, they will follow this position. Okay, according to these parameters that we decided here. Okay, something that is nice is that for every option that we have here, you can convert it to a table, so a normal table as we had in the previous options. So then you can change just one of these bolts if you want, delete, add an extra bolt if you did not need to do something special for any situation. So you can convert, when you use one of the other options, to the first one, that is by coordinates, and then edit or personalize it. Okay, so yeah, new features related to the introduction of bolts, insertion of bolts. It's now easier to introduce them. It's available for StruBIM Steel and Cype Connect.